My name is Skylar Corbin. I'm the current president of the Sports Law Society here at Tulane Law School, class of 2022, and I'm joined tonight by Jordan Jackson with the Miami Marlins, a 2018 graduate of Tulane Law School. And we're really excited to get to learn a little bit more about you, Jordan. And it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you again for joining us.
I appreciate the invite. Always happy to contribute to my precious alma mater. So glad to be here and glad to see people like yourself carrying on the legacy.
Great. So we got a few questions for you tonight. We'll start with kind of just learning a little bit about what went into your decision to pursue a JD. Baseball ops is a non-traditional path with the law degree. So help us understand kind of what went into your decision to go to law school.
I would say that it's interesting. Law school actually shaped my path. I did not foresee myself where I am now as I was applying to law schools some 7, 8 years ago. Um, I thought that my path would be a more traditional legal role, and that would kind of lead me into positions where I could maybe parlay some of the skills that I learned in law school and uh, things I pick up along the way into maybe a career with a team, a club, a league, a union, um, as a council member, or somewhere in the business affairs, legal affairs realm. But as fate would have it, in law school, I was able to kind of shape a different path.
Gotcha. And that's one of the more popular, I guess, sentiments in the Sports Law Society itself is there's several directions you can take it in, but the beauty of the law degree is that it's a versatile degree and it kind of unlocks a lot of doors for you. So given the fact that you ultimately finished the degree and now you are in a very coveted position in pro sports, can you kind of explain what advantages the legal degree and education provided you in your current position?
Sure. I think there are a couple of things that jump out immediately. Um, some of the hard skills that I learned, negotiation, mediation, that stuff still plays a big part of what I do day to day. But as well as soft skills, um, the ability to kind of take a lot of information and synthesize it quickly, communicate that to people who maybe are uh, not as learned or not as um, I guess not as experienced with the information that they're receiving. Um, those are skills that I think translate to not just my position, but a lot of positions across the gamut of sports leagues that are similar to mine. They're always looking for efficiency, and that ability in law school that you have, and maybe necessity that you have to kind of take a copious amount of in law school, it was more cases and questions and essays and things like that, and kind of turn them over pretty quickly and get to a result or get to an answer. Um, it's the same thing here in terms of efficiency, as far as taking copious amounts of data that we have and kind of turning that into something actionable.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me into my next question. It sounds like there were obviously a lot of soft skills that you developed while you were at law school, and the negotiation aspect is one thing. Once again, the Sports Law Society puts a lot of emphasis on. So, can you kind of speak to your experience at Tulane Law School and specifically with the sports law program, and kind of explain, what things you may have done outside of the classroom or even learned in the classroom that lend themselves to your current role and yeah, how was your experience with that?
So I would actually go back. I think another big one, a hard skill that law school teaches you is how to read well and write well. I think those two things are very, very important and maybe not as emphasized in society in general, but those things are definitely helpful as well in the role that I'm in now. So yeah, I think that to your question, um, a lot of the things, if not all of the things I did in the sport with the Sports Law Society in law school shaped my current reality, but the path that I took to get here. I think that if I didn't knock it down to three things, it's number one, the networking opportunities, the availability of so many Tulane Law alums, as well as other people that are just friends of the program, that would come around and not only share their networks, but share their experiences, their advice. And those people were instrumental in helping me not only get to where I am, but formulate the plan, like I said, to kind of get here as well. So all the networking events are big. Um, some of the other opportunities that the sports law program affords, like in my particular case, the arbitration competition. Um, but currently there's one for basketball and football, and I think those are tremendous opportunities not only grow your skills and maybe become more in contact with things that are currently at the forefront of the sports landscape right now. But again, another opportunity to meet people that are interacting with these things day to day that currently work in those fields. Invaluable experience.
So one of the things that you said that stood out was those competitions, and the baseball arbitration competition, of course, is the granddaddy of all of our competitions here at Tulane. So can you kind of explain how that helped you develop your skills and kind of what that meant to you when you were in law school?
Sure. So I was fortunate enough to be selected to chair that competition in my second and third years in law school, and um, it was unbelievable. I think that there's a lot that goes into it. There's an event planning aspect. There's a time management. There's all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, you get a chance to interact, talk, and learn from some of the brightest people in that field. And this particular one being baseball arbitration. Um, so you get a little bit of a little bit of exposure to the actual process of arbitration. You kind of learn the ins and outs. You learn a little bit of the player landscape. But like I said, the ability to kind of talk with people that are going through it now, they're able to give you real life experiences based on their current work situation, and you're able to kind of put yourself in their shoes. And a lot of times they were gracious enough to let us in on things that that we would not have been able to find out any other way. So that was just an unbelievable part of my development at Tulane, and I'm glad for it because without it, and without that opportunity, I wouldn't have the opportunities that I've had since then.
That's great. No, I wanted to kind of switch gears and pivot more towards the diversity aspect of sports and sports law. So, of course, on the business side of sports, diversity is one of those things that's kind of being emphasized more nowadays, and kind of moving up the priority list for a lot of leagues, a lot of teams, agencies, et cetera. So, how have you seen improvements in diversity in sports take shape since you started your career?
So I think I'll speak for baseball since that's the sport I'm employed in, and I would say that just from where we were as a league when I graduated to now, I think tremendous leaps have been made. I'm fortunate enough to work with the first um, female general manager in baseball history, Kim Ang, who's an incredible person, incredibly smart, incredibly talented. I learn from her every single day. Um, I think the on-field coaching positions that have began to go to women here recently is incredible. I think that here with the Marlins, we have a couple of on-field staff members that are women. We have more people of color in the game as far as coaching in front office than I think we probably ever have. The opportunities are great. There's a man at MLB named Tyrone Brooks, um, whose sole job is to try to get people of color, uh, women, minorities in general, into jobs in the front offices, into jobs on the field as field staff, and create a pipeline of talent. And I think I am a testament to his work. There are a bunch of people who could say the same thing, but I personally am a testament to his work and the hours that he puts in trying to increase the diversity in this game. He loves this game. A lot of us do, and I think that from the top down, MLB is put their foot forward, and they're trying to grow this game and grow the diversity of the people in it. And I think that over the last 5 years, there's definitely been progress. There's still a long way to go. Don't get me wrong, a lot further to go than we've gone. But I am confident and hopeful for the future of this game and the diversity of this game.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, like you said, with your particular organization taking such great strides with diversity. I wanted to kind of get your personal opinion on, what kind of impact do you hope to have when it comes to diversity and improving it in baseball in particular?
I think that I have the same responsibility as every single person I think in this game, and not just the minorities or the people of color or the women, but on everyone. And that's to leave the game better than we found it. Um, so that's it's on the list of goals that I have to accomplish professionally. We want to make a bigger space and a better space for people who look like me, who look like you, people that are have come from non-traditional backgrounds or backgrounds that have traditionally been shut out because of whatever reason, their gender, their race. So I definitely see it as a responsibility. I'm encouraged because there are other people in this game that I've met that also see that as a responsibility, and I think that we're getting to a point where, um, much like in this country, we have to, the like-minded people come together and be able to create something here that may not be easy. There will be challenges, and it may not happen overnight. But I think again we're on the right path, and I'm hopeful for the future of this game.
That's great. Thank you for that answer, Jordan. So we'll close out transitioning back to your particular job. And, we wanted to let the viewers know kind of exactly what it is your role entails and what your day-to-day kind of looks like. So could you go into a little bit of detail about that?
Sure. So I'm the manager of baseball operations for the Miami Marlins, and that role touches a lot of different areas. Um, from a day-to-day perspective during the season, there's a lot of game planning, scouting, uh, preparation that goes into each and every game. So that's fun. A lot of interaction with coaches and players about how best to win that day's game. So that takes up a lot of the time. But there are also opportunities to touch uh, different things that I've either had experience in or would like to have experience in. Arbitration is one of them. I was able to be involved with the arbitration in the arbitration world, which is always interesting. Um, Nothing like what I experienced in school, but it's fun. Uh, it's fun nonetheless. Um, and then the whole aspect of building teams and trying to figure out how to get the best players and acquiring them, roster construction, team management, um, a little bit of all of that goes into it, and it's a fun time to be in baseball right now. There's a lot of different things happening. Technology is really impacting the game in a way that it is not ever done before. So there's a lot to be excited about, but also a lot of growth areas and opportunities for people who are interested uh, to kind of apply themselves and make this a career.
Yeah, that's great. And with such a amazing role that sounds like it's very sought after, very coveted, like I said before. My final question to you, Jordan, is what advice can you share for the law students here at Tulane now trying to get where you are?
Yeah, so it's funny, I remember sitting where you are and sitting where law students are, and just trying to figure out the key to try to get into sports, and um, I never seemed to get an answer that I was happy with, but I'm kind of reminded of a quote that sat on President Obama's desk when he was in the Oval Office. He had a quote that was four words. hard things are hard, and I think it was there to remind him that there would be challenges ahead, but that did not mean that he could shirk the responsibility of tackling them. That they still had to be taken on, uh, and I think that I look at it the same way, or try to here along the path. And even when I was in law school, I knew that this is a hard business to get into, no matter which sport. Sports are, like you said, they're very coveted positions, and it's a difficult path. And I say that not to discourage anyone, but quite the opposite. Just know that what it's going to take to get here. I think you have to be bold, you have to be fearless, and not in the reckless sense, but just knowing that you're going to make risky decisions, calculated decisions, and you let them play out. If it works, great. If not, you just reapply yourself and start over and kind of see what the next step's going to be. But I think you kind of have to have, kind of like they say with closing pitchers in baseball, you got to have a short memory. You got to be able to be willing to hear rejection, or hear the word no, and not take it personally, but be able to bounce back and know that tomorrow's a new game. Um, and some advice I did get along the way, which I tried my best to follow, was every single day do something that's going to get you closer to where you want to be. It doesn't have to be anything big, it doesn't have to be a gigantic step, but just something, whether that's going on LinkedIn and finding 3 people who do what you do and connecting with them, or reading an article that gets you more informed about where you want to be, um, stuff like that. So I think that one thing every day to get you closer to where you want to be is a good place to start for people who are considering, going on this adventure.
No, very good advice. Then there you have it. And those were some gems. I was writing notes myself as you were saying it, so I appreciate it. And that was all the questions I had for you tonight. So thanks again, Jordan. It's been a pleasure getting to speak with you and kind of hear your perspective, hear about your journey. And a lot of people here at Tulane are looking up to people like you. So thanks again for setting such a good example for our students.
Thank you for having me again. I'm always happy to help, and if there is anyone out there that watches this and feels like I have something I can share that can help them along the way, I'm more than happy. Feel free to reach out.